Hey, I had a bit of a revelation in the car ride home from the store. I'm still jobless. That's the update. I still don't have a job. I've put in, it's very hard to find a job. Side note, tangent. It's very hard for me to find a job right now because not that the job market is difficult, because there is that, but it's also, because the offspring can't go into after school care. I need either an in-person part-time job in the city we live in, so I can take her to school and pick her up after school. And then with that, I'll probably have to do selling jewelry and then maybe another job on the weekend just to afford to move out. So 3 jobs if I get an in-person part-time job. Or a full-time remote job, which might be a headache because my sister also works from home, and this is a 1-bedroom apartment that she's letting us stay in with her, and so that might be a little headachy for a couple months until I can save up enough to move out. So there's not a lot of pickings for that, but I am applying to things that I can apply to, and then just trying not to freak out too much. So that's the life update on that. What was I going to say? All right. So I did have a revelation coming back from the grocery store about my daughter having issues because she is not excited about school at all. She is not excited. And it's very jarring for me because I loved school. I loved going to school. I loved Mondays. I loved just being excited to see the new teacher and learning new things and being around new students and figuring out what everything's going to look like and all the new experiences. I was always super hyped up for school, super excited. Such a nerd. I love pop quizzes. I loved it. I did testing very well. I love tests. She hates tests. She hates pop quizzes. She hates having to write anything down. She hates school. She doesn't like it. And then I was trying to figure out why that might be. And I realized our childhoods are very different. We both have a little bit of the tism of the neurospiciness, but my home life when I was a child was very full of emotional negligence, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, very narcissistic parenting. And so I was the quiet child in the corner that still got picked on and still fighting with siblings, and it was just toxic and then ghost stuff. So I often wanted to stay at school for as long as possible because I didn't want to go home. So school to me was a place where people were kind, people listened, if I got into trouble, they would listen to both sides of the stories and not just automatically assume I was in the wrong. People respected my boundaries in my personal space. And so that was what school was for me. So of course I loved going to school. Even though there was microaggressions and things like that, it didn't bug me as much as being home, because home had microaggressions too, but not micro. It was very in your face. So and she doesn't have any of that because she's absolutely catered for at home. Her opinion matters. I always ask for her input into things. If she wants a certain snack, I try my best to get it for her. I let her take the lead on a lot of things just because I'm trying to build her independence. She doesn't like being independent. She absolutely is dragging her foot on hitting milestones. I barely got her to wash her own hair now. She's gonna be 9. She absolutely refuses to do things on her own, not because she can't, but because it's then not me doing it for her. And so now I have to remind her that my acts of love is not an admission of servitude. Like, don't treat me like your servant, because I'm not, because she does that. And it's very, anyways. So going from that kind of loving, welcoming household to school, which has strict, rigid rules, and you're not being catered to, and they're kind of have too many kids, so they can't be sitting and trying to unravel the mystery of you, when your mom can just figure it out. Like, I can look at her face, she's 2 shades lighter than she normally is, she needs some Gatorade, she needs a snack, she needs something. They can't see when she's pale. She doesn't know how to regulate her own body temperature, so she just overheats when she's at school, or she is too cold when she's at school, or they just don't have that psychic link, I guess. But so school for her is a horrible place, because they test her on things she doesn't want to be tested on. They push her, and they put boundaries, and they put rigid, strict rules, and she's not in control there, and she doesn't like it at all. And so when I realized that the reason why she's so different than me when it comes to school is just because of how differently I treat her than how I was treated. I don't know, it made me a little emotional, because that means I'm doing something right. It is unfortunate, because that means she can't stay at school longer, and that means I can't get a job. I can't get a job. It's just difficult to find a job, but the right one will find me, unless my knight in shining armor wants to come in and rescue us. That'd be so much easier. I am so much better as a stay-at-home mom. But alas, still very single. Still gotta be head of household. Just a revelation I had today. And I guess it's a silent blessing and a silent reassurance that I am doing something right. It's just, I need to pay bills and be able to afford new shoes, new socks, new clothes, new things for us. I'm making do with what I have, and I'm very proud of myself for that. And yeah, thought I'd share. That's the update. If you wanna throw some change my way, I do have a link in my channel description on where you can do that. I can make that dollar stretch really well, because it's not my first time being poor. But anyways, I hope you enjoy your day. Bye.